The truth comes at the most unexpected moments. 108 years ago, in the small village of Fátima, 3 children witnessed something extraordinary. The Virgin Mary appeared to them, revealing secrets, warnings, and a hope that still resonates in the hearts of those who seek the truth. Today, in the year 2025, as the world is going through an unprecedented spiritual crisis, and the pontificate itself seems to have reached a turning point, the words spoken by Our Lady take on an even deeper meaning. If her requests had been heard, would we find ourselves in a different world? And now that everything seems to be falling apart, is there still time to respond to her appeal? O Most Holy Virgin of Fatima, Mother of Mercy, refuge and path that leads to God, hear our supplications. Welcome our souls into your Immaculate Heart. Intercede for our conversion and that of the whole world. Teach us to pray with faith, to offer sacrifices with love, and to walk the path of penance. Support the Holy Church in difficult times. Protect the Holy Father and give us the strength to remain firm in the truth. Amen. Whoever feels the strength of this prayer in their hearts, write Amen in the comments. May this be an act of testimony and faith in these uncertain times. In 2025, the world seems to be on the brink of radical change. Wars are multiplying, faith is cooling, values are distorted, and humanity seems to have irremediably distanced itself from the message of Fatima. And right now, while the pontiff seems increasingly fragile, surrounded by rumors of his imminent departure, the mystery of Fatima is forcefully returning to the center of the debate. Isn't it true that Our Lady spoke of an attack on the Church? That she prophesied persecutions and difficult trials for the successor of Peter? And what if all this were happening before our eyes? The apparitions of Fatima were not a simple mystical event, but a true message for humanity. 6 times Our Lady appeared to the 3 shepherds, Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta, entrusting them with fiery words. Conversion is necessary. Prayer is the only shield. Sin leads to eternal damnation. To those who delude themselves that heaven is an automatic conquest, Mary showed hell, an abyss of fire, where souls fall like snowflakes and suffer without hope. Harsh words, yet of an indisputable truth. It was not only children who saw the Madonna. On October 13, 1917, 70,000 people witnessed the miracle of the sun. The star of the day danced in the sky, changing color, approaching the earth as if it were about to fall. Even the newspapers of the time, skeptical and anti-clerical, had to admit that an inexplicable phenomenon had occurred. Wasn't it a sign for all of us? Wasn't it an invitation to conversion? Yet did the world listen? Did it perhaps respond to the request for consecration to the Immaculate Heart of Mary? Were the secrets entrusted to the shepherds not taken with due seriousness? The second secret announced the outbreak of the Second World War if humanity did not convert, and the war came with all its horror. The third secret, kept hidden for decades, spoke of a pope mortally wounded in the ruins of a persecuted church. When in 2000, this secret was revealed, it was said to refer to the attack on John Paul II. But are we sure that the prophecy has already been fulfilled, or does it perhaps concern our time? Today, the Holy Father appears increasingly weak. His health conditions are a source of speculation and fear. What will be the future of the Church? Who will lead the flock in these dark times? And above all, what will happen if the message of Fatima is still ignored? Our Lady spoke of prayer and penance. She recommended the daily rosary because it is the most powerful weapon against the forces of evil. She said that many are lost because no one prays for them. Do we ever stop to think about how many souls are on the brink of the abyss today? How many live as if God did not exist, as if sin had no consequences? Perhaps this is precisely the tragedy of our time, a world without prayer, without penance, without faith. Today, more than ever, the message of Fatima resonates with frightening force. We live in an age in which spiritual indifference has reached unprecedented levels. Sin is not only accepted but often exalted, transformed into a source of pride, while those who choose to live according to God's will are mocked, isolated, even persecuted. Our Lady in her apparitions warned us, without conversion, without prayer, the world would experience immense suffering. And who can deny that these words have come true? Let us look around us. Wars, famines, economic crises, ever more frequent natural disasters. Everything seems to cry out that humanity has turned its back on God. But perhaps the most worrying thing is the state of the church itself. When Our Lady spoke to the three shepherds, she not only announced world events, but also warned of the danger of persecution within the church, something even more insidious than external threats. And today, the church is going through one of the deepest crises in its history. The pontiff, the one who should be the spiritual beacon for millions of believers, finds himself in an extremely fragile condition. The news about his health conditions are becoming increasingly worrying, and the rumors of his imminent passing are multiplying. Pope Francis, who has long been plagued by health problems, has faced a noticeable deterioration in recent months. Breathing difficulties, constant fatigue, and problems related to advanced age have made it increasingly difficult for him to actively participate in public engagements. His latest international trips have been marked by visible weakness, and the pontiff has repeatedly been forced to reduce the length of liturgical celebrations or to delegate part of his responsibilities. There are sources within the Vatican who speak openly of the possibility that the Pope may soon be forced into a forced retirement, or that the Church will soon have to face a new conclave. And this opens up disturbing scenarios. If the third secret of Fatima speaks of an attack on the Pope, we must ask ourselves, is it something that has already happened, as many believe in reference to the attack on John Paul II? Or is it something that has yet to happen? The fact that Our Lady spoke of a persecution of the Church that would reach its highest levels should make us reflect. Isn't it true that today the Church is divided like never before? That opposing factions are fighting within it, with contrasting visions on doctrine, morality, and even liturgy? In a world where the forces of evil seem ever stronger, prayer and penance remain the only effective weapons. The Rosary, insistently recommended by Our Lady, is not a simple devotional practice, but a spiritual shield, a weapon of light against darkness. Yet how many still recite it with faith? How many understand its power? Each Hail Mary is a plea that rises to heaven, a concrete help in the fight against evil. But if prayers fade, if penance is forgotten, the world falls prey to darkness. If we truly believe in the message of Fatima, we cannot remain inert. The time for conversion is now. Every day lost is one less day to save souls, to intercede, to ask for God's mercy. And as the Pope perhaps approaches the end of his earthly journey, we must ask ourselves, are we ready to face what is to come? Because Our Lady has not left us a simple warning, but an urgent call. It is up to us to decide whether to listen to it or ignore it, with all the consequences that this entails. But there is hope. If we are still here, if the message of Fatima has reached us, it means that there is still time. Our Lady asked for the consecration of Russia to avoid new wars and persecutions. John Paul II consecrated the entire world in 1984, but some argue that the specific request was never fully fulfilled. And today, we see conflicts everywhere. We see the Church attacked from within and without. We see chaos taking over. Our Lady was not wrong. It is we who have not listened. Many wonder whether the consecration desired by Our Lady was done exactly as requested. John Paul II, in 1984, entrusted the world to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, but did not explicitly mention Russia as requested in the apparitions. Sister Lucia, the last visionary of Fatima, declared that the consecration had been accepted by heaven, but the debate remains open. Looking at the current geopolitical situation with growing tensions between the great powers, it seems evident that the peace promised by Mary has not yet been realized. Why? Many believe that consecration, to be effective, must be accompanied by a true conversion of the world. A formal act is not enough if nations continue to live in sin, to promote laws against life, to deny their Christian roots. Our Lady has always asked for prayer and penance as necessary conditions, and today, can we really say that we have responded to this call? Meanwhile, the Church itself is under siege. The Pope is ill, his future is uncertain, and the next conclave could mark a turning point. What direction will the Church take? Will it return to a firm and authentic faith, or will it definitively give in to the pressures of the world? The future is in God's hands, but also in ours.